So let's move on to our final topic of the week, and that's the D23 Expo. Disney announced a number of details this week about the D23 Expo side for the Disney Channel. And I know this was definitely something that Matt wanted to talk about this week. So I'm just going to go through some of the details here first off. There's going to be lots of meet and greet sessions. There's going to be, so from the list here, we've got character appearances from Fancy Nancy, Vampira. You're also going to have Just Roll With It. You're going to have Raven's Home is going to be represented. Sydney to the Max, Coop and Caddy Ask the World, DuckTales. We've got the Big Hero 6 series. Zombie stars, they're going to be there. The Bunked stars will be there. And also, I think that there was also a particular panel as well. But it's kind of a weird thing. There wasn't really as much there as maybe a lot of people were hoping for.
Especially considering that a lot of the Disney shows are either entering their biggest seasons or they're ending. Like the Tangled series is ending. And I know the showrunners were very disappointed they didn't get a D23 panel this year, considering they had live performances from Mandy Moore and the actress for Cassandra planned to be performed during the panel. And, well, unfortunately, the voice of Eugene is going to be where I'm going at Fan Expo Canada during that same weekend. But the big thing is, the animated shows only got one panel this year, and it is insulting considering that like Star versus the Force of Evil just ended. DuckTales is really popular. Big Hero 6 is entering halfway through its second season. Milo Murphy's Law and Phineas and Ferb has a movie on Disney Plus. I would have mentioned that would have gone the panel.
Yeah, I mean, we might see a bit about the Phineas and Ferb bit in the Disney Plus, because there's a Disney Plus panel. Because we know we've got the movie panel, we know we've got the Disney Plus panel, and we know that we've got the Parks and Resorts panel, and there's also obviously I think like the Legend show. There's obviously the thing is of them trying to fit in what it is. Because I saw there was quite a bit of a hoopla on like Twitter and stuff and Facebook about, they're going to be not a huge amount of, and as a whole, the animation department over at Disney seems to be very strange.
Do not promote the animated shows at all unless they're doing monstrous ratings. Like right now, they don't even air commercials on Disney Channel for the animated stuff, while here in Canada they do. It's like, how do you want people to watch their shows if you don't promote it?
I mean, this is the thing we were talking about as well on the What's on Disney Plus podcast this morning, was about how they are essentially like now in like July and June, they are dumping show after show after show daily because they want to get, it almost feels like they know that most of them are going to be watched through the Disney Now app.
And DuckTales and Big Hero 6 were done in 2 weeks. They just dumped like 10, 15 episodes in 2 weeks. And that's strange.
It's the only thing is while it's strange from the idea of how we traditionally have them like weekly, it does make sense in some way for them to be there, for kids to consume, for most people to consume in bulk over the week, over the summer, especially with the kids everybody being, a lot of them being off. That kind of feeds into this idea of having them all binge watching and repeat viewing. It's probably that the numbers are probably showing that that's what's happening, because
the numbers were not good for the weekday airings compared to the weekend airings. Like Marlo Murphy surprised everyone. It started the second season at the bottom, like 350,000 views per weekend, but at the end, when Disney stopped airing it, it jumped. It beat all the other Disney Channel shows. They had weeks where they had 475,000 views per weekend, and that was a show Disney never promoted, and it beat all the others.
It's funny because I actually saw the first episode last week, because it's now airing on a Sunday morning in like the Sunday morning kids slot on one of our channels over here.
It's the same thing here in Canada. It's on Sunday mornings here as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I usually seem to end up spending Sunday morning just watching sort of Disney and Marvel cartoons before I go off to work, and it was like, okay, this is kind of quite cool. I'll kind of give this one a go. And it was a kind of situation of, I think it would be very interesting to see what while they are looking at the viewing figures, it's the the repeat viewing, and also I'm sure the Disney Now app must be having, and people on demand, and
True.
that's where they're looking at the numbers. And I think it's like everything now. While the traditional viewing slot is important on the channel, it's what's the long-term gain of we see it with TV shows all the time, going, oh, it's only got so many people watching, but what's the
because
overall
those views are
understanding?
important. Because if your show is not doing good, you're getting canceled.
Yeah, I mean, there was that other show recently. Not necessarily, it wasn't a Disney one. It's certainly not suitable for Disney, but it stars Zendaya, who we see in, I'm sure I mispronounced her name there, from the Spider-Man Far From Home. She did a series, awful ratings on television, but massive viewings online. And this is the big shift over what we're obviously going to find with Disney Plus. And I am wondering, there was also some talk about Disney Plus not being suitable, or they're not necessarily suitable, but there's something that they're pushing that they don't want it just for kids. And it feels a little bit at the minute like they're holding a lot of stuff back, maybe for later. And they don't want to get the word out of like Disney is just about kids show. It just feels like at the minute we're in this weird bit where they go, we're making all this stuff for the Disney Channel, and Disney Channel are promoting it, but we don't want to kind of make too much noise.
It reminds me of something else. You were speaking about Marvel cartoons earlier.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man show ended its halfway point in August last year, and Disney announced nothing for almost a year. And suddenly they're like, oh yeah, we're airing the rest of season 2 in the fall, and we're going to have a new season next year about Venom. It's like, okay, you wait a year to announce this, and all the rest of season 2 already aired overseas in Norway.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense. You have the episodes, just air them.
I think they are holding back. I think they are, and they don't want to essentially kind of. I think they are holding content back for Disney Plus, but I also feel like they're trying not to put out. There's just a shift going on in how people are watching television, and this is where I think the D23 Expo, like seeing what they've got all these different shows up there, but they're very much what I would call. They're all the hits from this summer. They're all like various, quite established characters and meetings. There's nothing there that's kind of forward thinking at all. This is all very much, I mean, there's no even Descendants 3 or anything like that. I mean, that's all kind of coming out a couple of weeks before the D23 Expo.
Yeah, true.
But also,
and the panel that we're getting is Big City Greens. And the most noble thing I've heard is that Kermit the Frog is going to be there as the quote-unquote host of the panel, because season 1 had Fozzie Bear as a voice cameo in an episode, so maybe we're going to see that Kermit is doing a voice cameo for season 2.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I need to watch that one. I need to check if it's on Disney Life. I don't know if it is. This is the trouble with Disney Life over here at the moment with the
you get stuff super late.
It's like a year late, so this is the trouble of sometimes with series I don't quite get it unless you want to watch it live, and of course that's the problem of
I've been wanting to talk about the shows on here, but since he's super behind, I don't want to spoil him.
It's very, very tricky, because I'm hoping once we get Disney Plus going and we can kind of get a little bit more up to date on stuff. But as a whole, I mean, I just thought the Disney Channel offering did seem a little odd. I think they have got some like limited edition merchandise as well. So they've got some limited edition collection of T-shirts from Disney Channel favorites, including High School Musical, Hannah Montana, and Camp Rock, among others, which will be available exclusively to D23 Expo attendees at the Walt Disney telephone booth. So television booth. So there's a booth. There probably will be lots of merchandise there. But Disney does seem to be playing it safe quite often with merchandise, especially with Disney Channel shows where they hold off to make sure it's a hit before they make anything.
Yeah, I've seen some DuckTales stuff, but not that many. But I know that they do like action figures and such in the United States. It's just we don't see it that much here.
It's like, this, like, was it Little Green? What's it called? I cannot think of it.
Mojo or something like that. The company that are doing these DuckTales figures.
Yeah.
Oh, the show, it's Big City Greens.
Big City Green. For some reason, that name just does not seem to stick in my brain.
It's weird. It's because Green is the name of the family, and they've moved to the big city.
So, I mean, you know, they were going into their second season now. Is it second? Yeah, they've gone into the
Yeah,
second.
they're going second. Big Hero 6 is halfway through its second season. It's getting a third one. DuckTales is almost done with season 2. They still need to air about 10 more episodes, and they're confirmed for season 3. Tangled is over with season 2, and season 3 is going to be its last one, and that's airing sometime later this year.
Yeah, it's just there's definitely a lot of different bits and pieces going around.
And Milo Murphy is
but
unknown
hopefully,
because they're working on the Phineas
yeah.
and Ferb
Well,
movie right now.
Yeah, I was going to say they're working on the Phineas and Ferb movie, and it's going to be. It definitely feels quite strange because I rarely see very little merchandise goes up on Shop Disney. Very little merchandise comes out through other. This is very very little, and I think that's very telling about like the Disney Channel stuff at the minute. It's
Yeah, I think
very
only
disconnected from them.
Funko has stuff for Disney Channel, and that's pretty much it. Other than Descendants,
Yeah, they do a lot of dolls.
like we have dolls and like notebooks and that kind of stuff, and
it's just very it's very noticeable that they kind of they hold back. They it's like Amphibia, which has just come out this last month.
It just premiered today here in Canada.
Yeah, it's that kind of situation of something like that where you would think like they would be like the initial wave of toys and it'd already be pre-planned to have them out there. But Disney are like, whoa, we're gonna see if how people react to it. If it makes a lot of money, then in some ways, if I feel they've gone a little bit too conservative.
That's how it was with Gravity Falls. That show was huge, and there was barely any merchandise.
Yeah.
It was all out after the show ended. They did a big comic book. They did a complete series Blu-ray. They did the notebook that was in the show. It's like you wait until the show's over to release the merchandise.
It's that kind of thing, the cycle. And also quite often as well, it does seem with Disney at the minute, they kind of get to that, and Netflix are the same, you get to that like 3-season period and it's like, right, okay, time to cancel it, move on to something else.
Yeah, before it used to be 65 episodes and then you were done.
Yeah, so they're definitely sort of speeding up and kind of wanting new stuff. And I think as well as just...
I think it's just because they don't want the show to... like tire out and get predictable, like with SpongeBob or Simpsons, those shows that drag on forever and forever. That's why Gravity Falls and Phineas and Ferb ended early, because the creators didn't want it to drag it to the ground.
No, it's catch-22. There's falls and against for all of it. But I'd love to know what you guys think at home. Let us know in the comments below. And that kind of pretty much wraps up this week's episode. So make sure you go check us out over at DizKingdom.com. Like, follow, and subscribe on all the different platforms, including YouTube. Also, a quick plug as well. Go check out what's on DisneyPlus.com. And you can subscribe for our podcast there with me and James, who we do that on every week as well. So, Matt, where can they find you?
They can find me on my personal YouTube page, Matthew LeBlanc. I post travel vlogs there and occasional reviews.
All right. And on that note, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon. Laters.